What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Alolan DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. Now last episode we covered the bug electric type from Alola Vigavolt, and I asked you guys which Alolan form that has electric related to it, I suppose, what you would like to see today. It was a choice between Raichu and Golem, and Raichu came out on top, not a huge surprise, so that's who we're checking out today. But of course we have next episode's Pokemon to vote for, I suppose, and the battle is between the ground type Mudsdale and the normal fighting type Were. So do you want to see the stamina enhanced horse or the cuddly fluffy monstrous bear? Let me know down below by commenting either Mudsdale or Beware, and the one with most votes will be covered next episode. But for now, let's jump into Alolan Raichu. So, it is number 26 of course in the National Pokédex, and it's an electric psychic type in its Alolan form, and again still being a mouse Pokemon. It stands at 2 foot 4 inches or 0.7 meters and weighs 46.3 pounds or 21 kilograms. Egg and breeding wise, obviously same as normal Raichus in the field and fairy group, and the male female split is 50-50. Then evolution wise, of course, we have Pichu leveling up, evolving into Pikachu with high friendship, and then Pikachu will evolve further into Raichu with the Thunderstone. Of course, if you do that in the Alola region, you get yourself an Alolan Raichu. Looking at Alolan Raichu's base stats though, we can see here that it has fairly good base stats, I would say, in my opinion. Its speed is its highest at 110, then we have special attack at 95, we also have attack at 85 and special defense at 85 too, and then further down health points at 60 and defense at 50, so its lowest is physical defense. That's what you want to watch out for. But of course it's a speedy, special attacking monster, but of course you can see physical attack is still another option as well. At 85 base attack is probably not the most used one, you won't see it used pretty much ever, but it's still a possibility. There's only one ability available for Alolan Raichu, and that is Surge Surfer, which doubles its speed on electric terrain. So obviously, if you're using a Raichu, you want to be comboing it with Tapu Koko pretty much. Just combo it with that, and hopefully, get that set up, and then you can double speed. You have 220 base speed, and that's pretty much out and outspeed everything, especially if you get yourself a nice speed boost if you really want to. So yes, those are the base base ideas, base info for Alolan Raichu. If we have a look at its typing, being an electric psychic type, it resists 5 types, which are electric, fighting, flying, psychic and steel. It's weak to 4 however, which are ground, bug, ghost and dark, and takes neutral from the others. So it's not a bad typing, it's not a particularly good typing anyway, otherwise. It's got 4 weaknesses you have to watch out for, which isn't too bad, but it's just a point to make here. So the moves, what might you want to learn or use with your Alolan Raichu? Well, first up we have one level up move, and this is learnt by Pichu, so you must level up your Pichu to this level to learn and use that move, and that's Nasty Plot at level 13. Obviously going to sharply raise your special attack stat, so pretty decent if you can get one set up. Then with the TMs we have TM3 Psyshock. This is an alternative to obviously the later move Psychic, because Psyshock calculates the damage using the opponent's physical defense stat rather than a special defense stat, even though it is a special move, which allows you to really do big damage to things like Chansey, so it's definitely something to think about using. Then we have TM24 Thunderbolt, of course, standard basic sort of move you'd use while you use anything else, but to follow that up we have TM25 Thunder, which of course has 20 more base power with the exchange of 30% less accuracy. Now usually this wouldn't be worth it, but of course when we get to the sets we shall see why we can use it. Then we have TM29 Psychic, of course, as I mentioned, it's your basic Psychic stab, so Psychic or Psyshock is really your exchange here. You can either have Psychic, but that means if any really special defensive tanks come out, you're going to be pretty screwed and you won't have an option for them, or you can run Psyshock, which will have an option for that, but will do a bit less damage. Then we have 2 more TMs, which are TM52 Focus Blast, which is a really option really here to do lots of damage. Nice bulky damage here, 120 base damage, but only 7% accuracy again, so it's sort of you can use it to do lots of damage, but don't rely on it as a main move. One final TM though is Grass Knot, which is obviously a variable sort of base power move from 20 to a really light Pokemon, or 120 for a really heavy Pokemon. Definitely an option to think about running, especially to handle ground types, because of course if you get a Powdon coming, you can pretty much wipe that out with your nice powerful Grass Knot, but it's not a reliable move again, because of course if you've got a very light Pokemon you're facing off against, or a medium heavy Pokemon, then it's not really going to do that much damage. One final move however is a transfer move from Generation 6, is Surf. This is available on a few event Pikachus from Generation 6, so you'll be able to transfer that Pikachu over if you still have it, and then evolve it into an Alolan Raichu and be able to combo it with the sets we have here. But of course, bear in mind, I think Battle Spot doesn't allow you to use any Pokemon that weren't bred in the Alolan region. So of course, in the Alola region, of course, so it means you won't be able to use it and stuff like that. And obviously, some tournaments will say it has to be bred or caught in Alola, so you won't be able to use that sort of thing. But obviously, if it's a more generic competition or tournament or whatever, you'll be able to use it easily. And also, yes, we could probably expect some of those nice Generation 7 surfing Pikachu's coming out soon, so at some point in this generation cycle, so I wouldn't expect it to stay exclusive to Generation 6 for too long, but we shall see, of course, as we go. But those are the moves you might want to think about using on your Alolan Raichu. So the sets we're going to look at, the level 1 set, which is sort of just made for rain, I suppose, and the second one made for setting up. So looking at the first set, we have in terms of moves, Thunderbolt or Thunder, Focus Blast, Psychic or Psyshock, and then Surf or Grass Knot. Ability is a Surge, Surfer of course, Nature Modest or Timid, held item is a Life Orb, and the EVs will go in maximum special attack and speed of course, and the rest in special defense. So I said this is a rain set, it's sort of 50-50, you can use it with rain, but there are alternatives if you haven't got the rain set up and stuff like that. So the benefit of having rain up is you have Thunder, which will have 100% accuracy, and you also get a boost on Surf if you know it. So it's definitely something to think about using. Rain Team, heard they're pretty popular so far in Generation 7, so we might see something cropping up. And of course it's always best to combo it with Tapu Koko where possible, because you can switch in and have double speed. So really, that's a good combo there, so you want to think about using it. So in terms of the moves, you have Thunderbolt or Thunder. If you have not sort of rely on rain, if you haven't got a rain team, then Thunderbolt is the way to go. But if you do, definitely think about running Thunder. Then we have Focus Blast, of course. As I mentioned, it's got lots of damage, but it's not reliable, so it's just a power move basically. Psychic or Psyshock is your choice of, Psychic Stab, and the choice between them is whether or not you go for, more power or coverage against actually specially defensive Pokemon too. And then Surf or Grass Knot is your final choice. Obviously if Surf is available to you, it's probably the better choice because it's a more reliable move, allows you to hit those ground types you're weak to, and also gets a bit more coverage against fire as well. Whereas Grass Knot, okay, it covers the ground, but there's not much past that, and of course it's not a reliable move as mentioned, so Surf is definitely the way to go there. Of course we only have one abilities available, so there's not much to look at there. The choice between Modest or Timid Nature is up to you. Of course, if you are running Tapu Koko and combining it with Electric Terrain, you can think about probably running Modest because you'll have high enough speed already. But if you're not, you can probably think about running Timid as well because higher speed to outspeed a lot more things. And just obviously combo it with your Life Orb for all the damage. I wouldn't recommend any choice sets here, because why would you do that? Just why? And obviously the EVs are fairly self-explanatory, maximum special attack and speed for all the damage and all the speed. And then the last few in special defense, just to trickle it in there, because our physical defense is fairly low anyway, so there's not much point in boosting that. So how would you use this set? As I mentioned, you want to, where possible, combine it with Tapu Koko's Electric Terrain and a rain team. Of course, you don't have to rely on Tapu Koko setting up Electric Terrain. You could have other Pokemon doing it, or you could do it yourself, even if you got rid of one of your moves here, but probably not recommended because you're not the bulkiest Pokemon. So it's something to think about here, especially in doubles, for example. You could Tapu Koko and Raichu lead and see how you go there, or in singles you can Tapu Koko and then Volt Switch out into Raichu and then start snowballing from there, and where possible have the rain up. But of course it might not be 100% because it's very hard to get both Electric Terrain and a rain up and still have a turn or two to actually go ahead and attack and stuff. So you might want to sacrifice one for the other, or you can see if you can go for both. But yeah, that's sort of, you go in and you'd attack really. There's not much extra to it. If you have the Electric Terrain, you can outspeed most things, so you can just go crazy really and have that Modest nature to do lots of damage. So that's the first set. The second set, as I mentioned, is more of a setting up set. So in terms of the moves, we're going to start off with Nasty Plot, of course, for setting up. Then we have Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, and then Psychic or Psyshock. You could of course think about getting rid of Focus Blast for Surf if you really wanted to, if that's available to you, because it's, well, I would say it's better coverage, but it's a more reliable move because of the higher accuracy than Focus Blast. Ability, of course, is Surge Surfer again. This time we have a Modest nature because we want to power up basically. We want to get that one Nasty Plot off. You could say, okay, I'm going to run Timid because I get a Nasty Plot off and then I outspeed, or you could say I'm going to run Modest and I'm going to get a Nasty Plot, I'm going to do just billions of damage. The idea here is of course to run it with Electric Terrain. Once again, you have Electric Terrain, you switch in, you Nasty Plot, yes okay, maybe you take some damage, but then the next turn you are +2 special attack, you're on Electric Terrain, so you have doubled speed, and then you can just smash them with as much damage as possible. So that's that, and of course the held item is Life Orb once again, because why not, we're going for the most damage here possible, we can't go for a choice item or anything, so Life Orb is the way to go here. And the EV spread is exactly the same as before, because we just want power and we want speed, really. And there's not huge amount to talk about with the set here. So, you go in, you nasty plot, and you do damage. As I said, you want to have electric terrain set up before you go in, so you can get that one nasty plot off, take a move, or have a switch, for example, and then just power, just thunderbolt them out. Of course, you could run thunder if you wanted to rain up again, but again, you've got to have Tapu Koko electric terrain, then you've got to do switching to someone that can do the rain, then you got to switch in Raichu, then you got to use nasty plot, then it's out. Then electric trains run out, so really you haven't got enough time to do both. So especially in this set, so Thunderbolt is probably the way to go here. And of course, Focus Blast is for the coverage power if need be, and of course the Psychic or Psyshock choice once again is up to you, whether you want to go for power or coverage, really. So yeah, there's not a huge amount to say about Raichu. It's a standard Pokemon. You want electric terrain. Once that's set up, you're pretty free to just go on a rampage with your moves. So there's not a huge amount extra to say about that. So yeah, that's all of it for Raichu today, so for Alolan Raichu I should say. But of course we have next episode's Pokemon to vote for too, so if you haven't done that, make sure to comment down below your choice, either Mudsdale or Beware, because the one with the most votes will be covered next episode. But that's going to be it for me for today, so I should be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye my friends.